better, and we can discuss on this live stream. It's a girl, Lila Matams, also known as Gelwap Z, girl from Zambia. Thanks a lot for tuning in onto my live stream here on my YouTube channel, where we discuss a lot of important issues, but I was on a break for a bit. I did explain to you, my subscribers, what was going on, and now at least I can stream live and share more content. And I've also been working as well. I've been working, trying to catch up on a few things here and there. But I would like you guys to just bear with me that I haven't been that consistent, but now I will be consistent. And another problem with lockdown is that you can't get clothes. And with YouTube, I always need to keep up. I always need to come with nice clothes, or let me just say something different. Not, but Honorable is always wearing the same clothes when she's doing her live streams. No. Yeah, so I just want to discuss this important topic of President Edgar Lungu, and let me just go to his Facebook page where he posted something, and I'll be reading about it, and I want to make my comment. It's important that we keep up to date, especially with certain things that the president is up to. President Lungu. So for the past few weeks, we have heard and seen what has been going on in Zambia. A lot of injustice, obviously, and sometimes it gets too much to the point whereby you're just wondering, will there be a time when we'll have a free and a better Zambia? And the answer is yes. And this answer lies in you, the people of Zambia, that should vote wisely. Sometimes I always wonder why certain people support the current government. Is it because obviously they're getting contracts? Is it because their family members have got jobs and they have opportunities, whilst massive, the massive of Zambians are suffering? Just today, somebody shared an image of 100 kwacha. What 100 kwacha is the former 100,000 kwacha. What 100 kwacha, 100,000 would shop in 2000, it would be a trolley full. But now 100 kwacha, which is the current 100,000, can only buy you a coffee. A lot of things have gone high. Eggs that I used to empower people. I'm still empowering people, by the way. If you follow me on my Facebook page, you see that I'm still empowering people. And you find that eggs that were only 35 kwacha a tray, or 32 kwacha a tray, 30 kwacha a tray, are now 45 kwacha. So it's an economy that we need to look into, to say, are we ready to carry on with this government? So many things have gone on. I'll start with the honeybee scandal. Those of you who are in Zambia, you know what's going on with the honeybee scandal. I shared a video talking about it, where a cadre has been empowered with a pharmacy. And this cadre has no background, no education whatsoever in pharmaceuticals. But guess what? They are running a big contract with the Zambian government, supplying medication across the country, honeybee. And then we've had recalls, thanks to newspapers and Diggers, the Diggers newspaper that has been digging so much, and they found out that these expired drugs were being distributed in hospitals and pharmacies, and people were drinking those, and presently those drugs are being recalled. And then we have the scandal of Dr. CHITALU, who was fired. And I was happy. Most people were excited. But presently, Dr. CHITALU has been appointed again to sit on the panel of those who will be discussing the budget. And then we've had many deaths of coronavirus. Initially last year, I would say there's no COVID in Zambia, because I could tell that the type of non-social distancing, the carelessness from the government officials, the president himself going around the country. He was going all around the country without even caring that there was coronavirus. And, we've had lots of deaths. Just 2 days ago, the judge, is it Madam Elizabeth, passed on. Is it yesterday or 2 days ago? She passed on. A lot of people have passed on, and it's quite a difficult time. In the UK, there's a pure lockdown, including airports as well being banned. I was supposed to be in Zambia by today, but I'm here still stuck because of the flight ban. And then we've also had the scandal of our religious affairs minister who wants to change the dress code of Zambians, but she cannot look upon how Zambians are living at present, and how the Patriotic Front government has been very ruthless towards opposition and towards Zambian people. So there's a lot of injustice in Zambia. Today, as I speak, Mubita Sinawa and Anthony Walia have been arrested there in the cells for simply, demonstrating on national television that, look, these are fake NRCs that are being made by the Patriotic Front government. They need to be brought to book. And as a ruling party, they want to show and demonstrate that they have the power and the ability to punish people, and they have done it. So I'm just concerned about President Lungu. I'm concerned about him because he's in power, obviously. And the level of power that he has is a type of power where I don't think he is ready to change hands. President Lungu does not qualify for a third term, but he is still lobbying for ECL, President Lungu, Pawato. And it's going to happen that he's going to stand for the third term, even though he doesn't qualify. So I'm just wondering, President Lungu was one of these humble leaders. A humble leader that people would say, oh, he's so holy, he's very humble, he's glorious, he doesn't want to, he doesn't really speak about anything. And people were just looking up to him as a leader that they all loved, but he has disappointed many. Mao to says, is he a good president? For me, what I can say is he's done some positive things, of course. We can't say that somebody has been in place and everything he has done, everything is bad. No, there are some things he's done positively. The road network, though they give the poor kind of budgets for those things to take place. And he has tried to empower those who surround him, but not the masses, not the massive Zambians. So just trying to log into my Facebook. I should have logged in a long time. Welcome back, missed you live streams. Thank you so much. I'm waiting for more people to come and then we can start. And then I'm also trying to log on to this terms. Yeah. So tell me where you're watching me from. We're going to catch up at least every week, 4 times or 3 times live streams. We give it a space every other day, and then obviously when I'm in Zambia it's every day, but when I'm here, because I have to catch up on a lot of things, with traveling back home, you need a lot of money. It's not easy. Record label at so there's a lot of things that have been going on, but otherwise for me, I'm one person that has been missing you guys with YouTube. I missed my YouTube family. You get used to the YouTube family, and it's just been a pain. Let me just go on Lusaka Times. Sorry. It's just been a pain with a lot of things that happen, and sometimes a break is important. Okay, so President Lungu appoints new PS. Yeah, there's a man that was singing a song dedicated to President Lungu, and 2021, and the man has been fired. He's a bishop. Yeah, so I'm gonna check on this. Happy you're back. Go Lily, thank you so much. Okay, so recently, obviously, we know that in January, President Edgar Lungu newly appointed the Minister of Water and Development, Raphael Nakachindwe. And then, hold on, agree. I'm just trying to shuffle between. I thought I would be using my phone, which is faster, but now I have to use the thing. So the president had recently appointed, somebody for water because of the floods that were taking place. And these are people that have been working with President Lungu, obviously, and he keeps appointing more and more and more people. And a lot of people are concerned about the people that he keeps on appointing. He's appointing people from the Eastern Province, the Northern Province. I saw somebody post that on his Twitter to say, why is he not appointing from other parts of Zambia? It's only one particular tribe. I don't know what you think about that. But then, the president appointed this man recently, and he says, this is a shocking part. Each time President Lungu posts something, he said until 2030, until 2026. So I'm getting a bit worried. What is happening in Uganda? What happened to Uganda might happen in Zambia. Because if he keeps on saying until 2026, until 2031, is he telling us that he still wants to be in power? I was talking to one of my friends from Nigeria, and I was explaining to him about, politics, the dynamics in Zambia and the political environment. And one of the things my friend asked me, one of the questions he asked me was, how is your political, environment in terms of people who are appointed as ministers and everything? Then I started giving him examples of who've been appointed. And then I told him about the voters registration, which was cancelled. The old one, the previous one, was wiped out, and we started the fresh one. And the first thing the person said was, the rigging has already started. And he said, look, the election, I can bet you any money, 2021, that election has already been rigged. And I was like, no, it's not possible because we're doing fingerprint biometrics. Said, yes, that's the reason why they did that, so that they can rig the election. There is no doubt in my mind that if President Hakainde Hichilema doesn't become the president of Zambia, the economy of Zambia will be worse. Presently, the pound is 28 kwacha, almost 30. Yeah, the dollar is 21 kwacha, almost 22 kwacha. And my worry is the salaries of Zambians, is still the same, below average, 2,500. And then things keep on going up. Rentals are going up. Everything is going up. And yet President Lungu is not ready to step down. There's certain things that even investors look at. Before an investor can come in to invest. Sorry. Oh God, it's dizzy. Bless me. Before an investor can come in to invest in Zambia, Zimbabwe, or in any country, there's something they look at. How's the political environment? The political environment is very important, because if cadres, like the way it is in Zambia, political cadres, those who cheer up the president and the political party, current government, Patriotic Front, can have so much power like they do now, I can guarantee you that there's no way a credible business would want to invest in Zambia. It's because I don't think they would feel safe. And with the way the rate keeps on fluctuating, it's a bad time to also invest in Zambia. And also with just the political violence and the restrictions of the opposition leadership in order for them to carry on campaigns, move freely. It's impossible for President Hakainde Hichilema to move freely. President Kambwili of his party, NDC, was recently arrested and charged. And I'm not sure if he's going to be able to file in his presidential nomination because of that criminal record. But you see, all these things, when you come across them, you see the traits of dictatorship. Is Zambia going to be a dictatorship soon? And my answer is yes, because the Patriotic Front are not ready to give up power. Boma Losambo has stated that You think we're going to give up power easily? No, we will not. So during this period of COVID, they're using it to oppress the Zambian people and say, look, you cannot move around because there's COVID. The opposition cannot gather, because if you try to gather, they'll come and stop your meeting. It's against, gathering. You're not allowed to gather. It's called unlawful gathering. But at the end of the day, you see the president flying all over Zambia with his chopper, and you're wondering, is this man the humble leader that we always thought? Is this man the person that we thought, was compassionate? When Sata died, he cried, he showed these tears, crocodile tears of, I will miss you. You have taught us a lot of things. And he was this very sweet man, and suddenly he's flipped. You step on his toes, he fires you. But there's something about Dr. CHITALU. He knows a lot. There's something that man knows. That is why the president is keeping him close. There's no way you can fire somebody who is liable to a huge criminal offense, such as issuing contracts of $17 million to a pharmacy which doesn't exist. Issuing contracts to a pharmacy which gives expired drugs. Recently, there was a video that I was listening to, there were audios where people in America were stating that, Zambians in America were stating that Kaoma, who is also part of Honeybee, is this very strong card. I shared him in my video, which is on my YouTube channel. He went to America to look for a place where he could get drugs that were almost expiring. And my heart bleeds to say, does the president have the welfare of the Zambian people at heart? Because if he did, he would appoint professional people. He would appoint people that can do the job, and not anybody that shouts his name, that endorses him, ECL gets a contract. For those of you who haven't been in Zambia for a long time, you will be shocked at the rate at which cadres have Range Rover cars. They can't even speak good English. They don't even know how to read or write. They have Range Rover cars. They have a lot of money. They have businesses. They build houses. Whilst a graduate, a Zambian with a degree or a diploma has no job. I recently advertised on my Facebook page. I'm going to share the video on my YouTube channel. I was talking about it. I asked for only 10 people to come and work in the UK. Over 2,500 youths contacted me trying to apply for 10 jobs. 2,500. All of them have diplomas. All of them have, some have degrees. All of them are young. We're talking about 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. And I was shocked. And these are professionals seated at home, doing nothing, and some of them have become cabbages. And by cabbages, I mean all they do is sit on the internet and read what's on the internet, chat, go out, and they cannot get a professional job. So for me, it's worrying. If this man promised 500,000 jobs, how come we have 2,500 youths who don't have jobs in a particular profession, nursing? These are frontline workers. These are people who are supposed to be helping in the communities now. They have no jobs because our current government has not only selfish leadership, but leadership that has no plan for the destiny of a Zambian youth. And that is why it's up to you to pick on leadership. Leadership that will bring change. We need proper change in Zambia. Revamp of the economy. Myself, when I pass through Munali constituency and I look at the whole environment, all I see is one clinic in an area of 15 to 20,000 people. There is no schools. There are no local schools. Some children have to walk long distances. Some children have even died in accidents. as a result of trying to cross the road. They've been hit by cars. And the government is living a life of so much carelessness, and what they're trying to do is cover up by putting in people that they can work with, people that they can control. We recently talked about the governor being fired, and we were shocked. How can you fire a whole governor? And since the governor was fired, has the economy of Zambia changed? No. I just don't read it. No. Thank you so much for those of you who are joining. No. And he keeps on making tribal appointments. There was an article here which I came across, which talked about President Lungu's tribal appointments are further tearing the country apart. This was by the Mast, Tuesday Wale. And one of the things he mentioned, I loved the article when I was reading it, because, you know, he kept on saying that many patriotic and progressive Zambians have complained over the tribal manner the Patriotic Front, PF government, and President Lungu are appointing senior civil servants. The appointments are being done in a partisan and tribal manner. It is common to hear Lungu's appointees either being in his tribesmen or his tribal cousins as members. You know, so this person was saying, I'm extremely worried. And then he talks about the founding fathers, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, who, you know, fought hard to suppress tribalism. And remember, KK would always say, one Zambia, one nation, we are one. And that's how come we've had that notion. But then the article says it's been disappointing to see that the PF government, led by President Lungu, the humble president, he states that as well, has yielded to tribalism at the exclusion of many others who are well qualified to serve the nation of Zambia. You know, he talks about many permanent secretaries. This was last year, and he's repeated the same pattern of appointing people within. So last year, President Lungu appointed permanent secretaries who were from his tribe and from either cousins, tribal cousins, or from his tribe. So many appointments at permanent secretary level are given to President Lungu's tribesmen and his cousins, tribal cousins. Only a handful of permanent secretaries are from the tribal groupings, which include Madam Kakulubelwa, that was last year, Mulalelo, PS Ministry of Health in charge administration, Mr. Amos. So you find that most of the people that he keeps on appointing are members or from Eastern Province. So he was complaining, this was last year, but again, he has repeated the same thing. So that's what I'm trying to get here for 2021. Let me see. Okay, let me put permanent secretaries, because when I just put PS, it's not coming perm. This is a new laptop, so it's not searching like the other one, which would just go straight to what I searched for. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Secretary 2021. Okay. Yes. And the Mulelo was hired last year, but Mulelo has been fired this year. So according to the 2nd of February article from the Diggers, President Edgar Lungu has fired Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary for Administration, Mulalelo, and replaced her with Emmanuel Ngulube. So people from the Eastern get the jobs after the former was suspended for 1 month following the revelations of her involvement in the abuse of COVID-19 resources at the ministry. So basically, Mulalelo was given the job because she's from Secretary Edward Chomba Bemba speaking, obviously, when he swore in 7 permanent secretaries at State House on Tuesday. So President Lungu urged the permanent secretaries not to fall prey to the temptation of antagonizing ministers. Let me congratulate you. So it's shocking that he has obviously fired his fellow tribesmen. But having said that, there's been a rise in COVID-19 cases. That's why they wanted to have a new health minister or health permanent secretary as well. Dr. CHITALU was fired, but I don't believe that's the reason why this has happened. I think it's a cover-up because many people have complained about Dr. CHITALU being corrupt. Why is Dr. CHITALU still being in the same position? So by firing him and replacing him with somebody else was just a cover-up. And then also the other person that has been working with him, and the person working with him, Mulalelo, somebody says ECL was never right man for the job. In a desperate attempt to disappear relevant, he has failed miserably. How can you rehire a criminal whom you sacked for his misdeeds in the first place? It's shocking. It's shocking. So the new health minister, Dr. Jonas Chanda, has announced that we have recorded a number of 1,191 cases of COVID in Zambia, out of 8,355 tested. Now, I'm worried about COVID in Zambia, very worried, because unlike the Western world and other places, there's voluntary testing centers which are absolutely free. But in Zambia, for you to have a COVID test, you have to pay. It's not free of charge. The cheapest I've heard so far for COVID test is 650 kwacha, which is about 30 pounds. Now, my worry is the people in the compounds, the people who are vulnerable, the people who are poor, they could be walking around with COVID, but because there is no one to test them, there's no resources, COVID will carry on being passed on. So they are talking about 8,000 people being tested. Those are not free tests. Those are tests that were paid for by the people who felt, I think I have symptoms of COVID, and then they got tested. There's no voluntary testing anywhere. I haven't seen or heard of anything like that. I think it would be nice if the government would spend more time in testing as many people than busy dashing out bags of meal in their local constituencies in order for them to win the elections this 2021. So out of the 8,355 tests that have been conducted, according to this report, 14 deaths have occurred in the last 24 hours. This is as of today. Again, I don't feel that it's that accurate because some people have died and we don't know whether they died of COVID. I've lost about 4 or 5 people that I know that had underlying health conditions and they've died of COVID. A lot of people have died of COVID, a lot, too many people. There's so many cases, according to the breakdown in cases, 259 in Copperbelt, 235 Lusaka, 151, and all these places. Funny enough, our president has never caught COVID, but he's been on the move. If you look at other heads of state, they caught it. I mean, we saw Trump catching coronavirus. We've seen Boris Johnson catching it. We've seen other heads of state. But him, with all the movements, well, he's got strong genes. He's never caught COVID. So that's the issue with the president hiring more people. And there's something that I'm concerned about. They're talking about Zambia having a lot of COVID cases, but they are reopening schools. Now, for me, there's a catch. Anywhere where the government can make money through taxes, they will allow the place to be open. Remember, they said the bars should be open. They said casinos should be open. It's because they're in a desperate bid to collect all that tax to misuse it anyway. Because whether businesses like it or not, they have to add tax on. Dorosalia, government spokesperson, has announced that schools will reopen on Monday, which was yesterday. Some of my friends who have children in boarding schools were taking their children to Kasese girls. She said among the consequences of keeping schools closed is that some girls fell pregnant after schools were closed for 6 months. On the other hand, the minister was not coming out categorically on the serious measures taken to stop the spreader events from being carried out. And Some of the schools are church schools, Catholic schools, and we've seen lots of Catholic priests dying because most of them are exposed to, dead bodies and people they greet, shake hands. And then we've also seen a lot of pastors as well dying. In the past few weeks, I think we've lost about 10 pastors. And a school, mainly that you find that pastors are there. Maybe these pastors as well may have children who go to those schools, and then COVID will keep on being passed on. And the plan of the enemy to wipe out Africa will take place. So she states that she is arriving at, she arrived at the decision because the council looks into consideration several factors, including the fact that the current wave of COVID-19 is much more aggressive and in spread, and it is more deadly. So if the COVID-19 that is there now in Zambia is more deadly, why don't we have a lockdown? I asked that on social media, and people said, how are they going to survive? How are they going to eat? You don't know how we live here in Zambia. You are talking because you're in the diaspora. So I was like, it's nothing to do with that. The government, if they have a proper plan, they could make sure there's food and relief and check people whilst in their homes and find measures of in and out where people are tested and where people are checked, and there's that kind of social distancing. Because as you've seen in Zambia, there's lots of buses filled up, we sit next to each other, we rub on each other's shoulders, and COVID likes such type of things, because then once that person has it, passes it on to you, and COVID will carry on, because it's a super, the one that says a super spreading one. So however, she says, however, the council consider the consequences of keeping the schools closed. The council record that after closing schools during the first wave of COVID-19, there were a number of social consequences on the children. Yes, of course, there will be a lot of social consequences, because as a government, you've never had plans for the children. You've never had recreation activities. You've never had libraries. You've never had computers for the children. You've never had internet for the children. You've never had centers where children can go and have other extracurricular activities. But because you've never had a plan or a vision at all for the children, this is what happens. Because all you're interested in is the schools opening, you collect your tax, you're not bothered about the school system, which is an old system, counting 12 rivers of Australia, or is it Austria or Canada, things that have never added value in my life and in anyone's life. The whole education system needs to be changed all over again. But then you'll find that President Lungu, I don't know if I can say he has no authority over his people, and people just do what they want, or he knows what they are doing and he just allows them to do what they want to do. Because it just shocks me that, in a case where there's so much, COVID going on, lots of scandals going on, and he doesn't address those matters, and all he does is just, hire more people, when we only have about 6 months to form new government. Is he in a desperate bid to please the people at the last hour? And will Zambian people make the same mistake they made when they were dancing to Dunana Reverse in 2016 or 2011? Are they going to make the same mistake? That is my worry. Because at the end of the day, it is you that will struggle. So COVID still says COVID has a 99% survival rate. Why would you take an experimental vaccine? I haven't gotten any experimental vaccine, and I am not ready for that. So testing for COVID is free. If I know of Chilenge, it is the certificate that costs. Okay, so if the certificate is free, I know the certificate we pay for it, because even when traveling you have to pay for it. But how many people are being tested? None. How many people are voluntarily being tested? We have the HIV/AIDS pandemic, where we speak more about it, and a lot of people are being tested. They've been taught how to use protection. But with COVID, we haven't had that type of awareness of come and test if you have COVID and go home and isolate. come and test. Nothing like that is going on. It's because the resources they have limited resources because they know they'll need to hire people and pay them. If you see how well organized, I'll say well organized, the voters registration process was, you will know that this government was ready to rig the election, or they are ready to win the 2021 elections. They made sure every area had an agent, a computer. I mean, where did they get the money from to put all these laptops? They had laptops, they had gensets. Each place had a genset. If there was no power, the genset carries on the job. Why? It's because they are up to something. But then you see them exercising their zero leadership, bullying people, Kampiongo authorizing killings, authorizing police, brutality, people being arrested. And in all this, the president has never said anything. There's 3 people that I know President Lungu will never put far away from him. Stephen Kampiongo, the health minister, former CHITALU, and this guy, Dr. CHITALU, the health minister, and Bowman Osambo. Never. You can try. And by the way, Bowman Osambo is President Edgar Lungu's family, brother-in-law. So that one is impossible. It's very, very impossible. Okay, so Mess Cap says people do whatever they want because none of them have respect for ECL. If he was respected, he would have authority. Sadly, that's not the case. We have a Mickey Mouse government. Very true. So, and MK says, Lungu has zero leadership. Of course, he has no leadership. We've seen what's going on. And then there's been an issue where people are suspecting that Dr. Chimba Kambwili is coming back to, or is it going back to PF? He's been so silent. He recently traveled to the UK for a week and he's back in Zambia. And there's some articles that came out to say NDC Chishimba Kambwili says he has not decided to stop talking about bad governance practices because no one will pay his legal bill if he gets arrested. So that's why he has decided to stop. He will talk about it and he doesn't want to be arrested, so he's decided to be silent. I don't blame him because at the end of the day, people would say, we are with you, Dr. Chimba Kambwili, but he'll be in the cells alone. We are with you, Lilian Mutambo, but I'll be somewhere on my own. We are with you, Mubita Sinawa, but Mubita Sinawa is on his own. Okay, so still says 2020 equals to 2.8 million deaths. 2019, 2.8 million deaths. 2018, 2.8 million deaths. So in this country, there were apparently 350,000 COVID deaths. So the difference in deaths between 2020 and 2019 should be at least 350,000. Do the math. Okay, so Super Ken watching from SA saying, I admire your courage, Lily. Thank you so much. We're just trying to catch up. I'll do another live stream tomorrow a bit earlier, but I thought that we could just talk about these issues. So, NDC leader Dr. Chimba Kambwili has decided not to talk about these things, whatever is going on. Sometimes we reach a point where we just look at these things and say, okay, enough is enough. It gets too much in the end, whereby you just say, okay, because there's always something. Every day, there's always something. Every flipping day, there's always something. It's either Bowman Osambo is mocking people, it's either Stephen Kampiongo is doing this and that, and the Zambians who are well educated than these people are silent. They can't say anything. And Dr. Chimba Kambwili has decided, look, being a former PF cabinet minister, member of parliament of Ron constituency, he says the people of Zambia don't seem eager to be involved in their own affairs. And when those who speak for them find themselves in trouble, they leave them to suffer alone. That's what he said. I've got a bill with the lawyers, a huge bill. If I'm arrested again, then what? And this is what I find. I'm a young aspiring person. And people say, go back to diaspora. And I'm thinking, okay, I have a visa, mate, you don't. I can get a job in England, you don't. You know, oh, you're just wasting your time. They will say all sorts of things. And I'm thinking, people are doing this not to enrich themselves, but to bring about the change. And I'm asking myself, is the mindset of Zambians ready for change? I was very disappointed to hear a statement from somebody I loved so much. Every time I would see this person, oh, Lillian, you are the best aspiring MP. You're doing a good job. I won't mention the area for identity protection's sake. You are doing such an amazing job. You are the MP of next year. I said, okay, that was last year, we should say those things. She literally even knelt down. God has sent us an MP like you. I said, okay, amen. And when I listened to a voice recording of her saying, oh, we're just going to use Lillian to eat her resources, we're going to vote for this person, I was shocked. And I said, what sort of mindset is this? The people who've been with you for many years have never looked at you to say, you need eggs to empower you. They've never looked at you to say, you need this to empower you. And they're the same people, because they've given you $2 to silence you, you now say, I'm going to vote for those people. That's why I made a statement on a WhatsApp group, my WhatsApp group, Monali Constitute. I have my own WhatsApp group. And I said, I will never be surprised if Boma Lusambo becomes president of Zambia. I will never. At the rate at which things are going and the political environment, the way it is, I will never be surprised if Boma Lusambo one day becomes president of Zambia. I will never. Because people are easily bought. They don't look at integrity. They don't look at what this person has to offer. It's what they will eat now. Now. The person that will give them something now that they will eat, their loyalty can easily be bought off. And I said that people are not ready for change. The same people will be complaining. They'll be talking about HH. Oh, HH are this, HH. And I'm thinking, this guy is a flipping millionaire that can decide to fly to the Bahamas or come and live in London and live a luxurious life, but he's decided to continuously live in Zambia because he wants to see the economic environment change. But people will push him away. They'll push him away. Simply because the current leadership can give somebody 50 kwacha. Right now, I've seen people celebrating on their social media to say, oh, my uncle has been appointed as a permanent secretary. So guess what? That person will never talk against the government. Recently, we saw a musician that has never spoken anything about the government anyway. They got empowered with whatever empowerment that the government was giving. And that empowerment is not even real, by the way. They give them equipment, not money. And we saw another young lady that would come on media. She would speak things, Serafina. She would speak things, speak this. Now she will never speak about that. So every voice that can speak for the people of Zambia is silenced. Dr. Chishimba Kambuli used to speak for Zambia. He's been silenced. Mubita Sinawa has been silenced together with Anthony Wale. As we speak now, they are in the cells. And like Dr. Chishimba is saying, Zambians are not aggressive enough to find out where are the 42 fire trucks, to find out who is the owner of the 48 houses, to find out why are you doing this. No, they are all seated in their homes. They are all complaining on their WhatsApp groups. Nobody is ready to challenge the current leadership. So for me, it worries me when I see somebody like Stephen Kampiong, who was once in Katondo Street selling phones and exchanging dollars, has no degree or diploma, by the way. He's now the Minister of Home Affairs, in charge of the police, in charge of police brutality, in charge of everything that is going on. He is the minister. and a graduate will be seated in their corner. All they do is celebrate their achievement. They post a picture of them and their children and their family. They are going to this private school. They've bought a car. They've done this and this. Anything to do with the government and whatever is happening in Zambia, it doesn't concern them. It doesn't concern them. So, to me, it tells me that many Zambians are not ready for change. Many Zambians are not ready for change. And believe you me, a lot of Zambians, yes, they want to see President Hakainde Hichilema into government in 2021, this year. But if we had been protesting against the first, the initial voters registration of more than 9 million people, then combined with this new one, it would have been better, because then we would have had a fair election. But I see 2021 election being more unfair. And President Lungu celebrated Museveni's victory, which is a very fraudulent victory. The real results of Bobby Wine came out, and he had 9 million votes. And after that, what had happened? He was under house arrest for more than 6 days. And that's what we see of HH. HH can't move freely. If he wants to move freely right now, they put all sorts of bans. HH couldn't even fly to a funeral of his loyal member. HH couldn't even go to a funeral of his loyal member. He can't move easily. The same traits of Museveni is what we are seeing in Zambia. So if I were you as a Zambian, I would be worried why the police cars that Mr. Stephen Kampiongo bought. Why is President Lungu moving around the country but restricting other people? So that is why a lot of people are quiet now. They are silent. But I always post on my social media. David says CHITALU has been reappointed as what? As somebody on the panel for the budget. I'll read about it again. When I just heard, I said, okay. Still, would have to say, that's right, Museveni stole the election, didn't store, and I predict Lungu will steal. And Lungu will steal this year. If we don't protect, we don't invest in the voters' protection by empowering people who are supposed to be at the polling stations, by making sure they have enough food and water to drink, to eat, and to stay there and to guard, they will be stolen. And right now, there's another image and article that leaked, whereby they're saying some cadres are being trained as army officers in a Zambia that I know, which has been peaceful. Since when did we ever need army people, parading in Zambia? We saw the recent death of Mr. Samansama and the young man, Joseph Kaunda. Those people didn't deserve to die. But because of Kampiongo's ruthless, instructions, they died. So, okay, Stephen Kampiongo has been on COVID. Yes, COVID lockdown, or is it self-isolation? And a lot of people went to the post where they said he was ill and they said he must die. A lot of people were wishing him death. I know this is just politics, but sometimes when your heart is too hard, people will wish you even death. So Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampiongo says government is not happy that some police officers continue to be involved in extrajudicial killings. You authorize them. There's no way a police officer can just kill someone. You authorize them. Chishala says people may be apprehensive as their lot has not improved, even after changing government twice, 1991 and 2011. Is there a better deal? Maybe you need to address this. Yeah, we can talk about that tomorrow, actually, on a live stream and see. I'll try and use my daughter's laptop tomorrow so that we can talk on that one, actually. I think it's an important topic. Is there a better deal for the Zambian people? Is HH a promising candidate? Do we see a better Zambia through HH and his administration? Those are the questions that we will ask. Okay, so he was speaking on Diamond TV, Kampiongo, blaming his police officers And he said he was not pleased to hear that police officers were involved in some cases. In the case of Frank Mugala, I mean, he's talking about Frank Mugala today. Where was he all this time, by the way? For him to speak about Frank Mugala today is strange. Where was he all this while? Frank Mugala was a young man that was killed by police when they went to investigate, or is it to stop a riot, and a young man who was in grade 9 was killed. And that case escalated because he was a nephew to a judge in Zambia. You know, it's only when the person is related to somebody important that they step up. Just like in Samansama, when he was shot, people talked about him more than the young man from the UPND supporter, because Mr. Samansama was a prosecutor, government prosecutor, and his death was obviously unfair, and then he wanted to pin it down on the UPND. Funny enough, Chilufya Tayali has been silent on social media. He hasn't said much, and people stopped following his page much. So Mr. Kampiongo said he was not pleased to hear that the officers have been involved, and then he said they have worked very well with the Human Rights Commission, who also did their independent work, and they submitted a report to the Ministry of Home Affairs. I'm surprised that he even agrees to the, Home Affairs, working in partnership with human rights. Okay, so the article of Honeybee. So what position has he been appointed to? Let me check for you, because I'll check for you in a bit. Okay, so there's an article here on Zamra, because I talked about it. Zamra recalls 19 more honeybee products, including defective pregnancy kits, pregnancy test kits. Okay, so the Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority, Zamra, has written to Honeybee Pharmacy directing them to recall 19 more products from the market, including pregnancy tests. They say that these products were not dated later than 28th, yeah. And yeah, so basically this was addressed to Imran Lunat, the sole trader who was awarded the US $17 million contract, Ministry of Health contract. Zamra Acting Director General Bonaventure Chilinde said the products should be withdrawn within 14 days. Crazy. A lot of crazy things have been happening. Let me just, okay. So basically, Dr. Chitalu Chilufya has been appointed to the government budget committee. Now, this is somebody who has embezzled public funds. We can't say that he had no share in that $17 million. He definitely had a share. He had a share in the $17 million. He's a crook. He should actually not even be on the register, as he shouldn't even be addressed as a doctor. He should just be called Mr. Chilufya, because he is a disgrace to the profession of doctors. So there's a useless person, very useless, I'll say, because I don't understand how this person will upload this. So Government Chief Whip Brian Munduwile says there is nothing unusual with the appointment of former Health Minister Dr. Chitalu Chilufya to the Parliamentary Budget Committee. Can you imagine that? He says there's nothing wrong, nothing at all. Everything is okay. He should be appointed, it's fine. Very useless, honestly. And he says, commenting on the UPND, obviously on Hakainde Hichilema. Hi, Story of Motherhood, amazing channel. Love to see you here. Yeah, so Himonga Hamalambo, basically Dr. Chitalu Chilufya has been appointed as, the Parliamentary Budget Committee to look at the finances of the government. Okay, so he was commenting on the remarks of I don't know why I wanted to say Dr. Hichilema, of President Hakainde Hichilema's remarks that Dr. Chilufya's appointment to the Parliamentary Budget Committee was a disaster. Munduwile said there was nothing wrong for any member of parliament to be appointed as a member of the committee as long as they were not holding any ministerial position. Can you imagine that? So in short, he accepts corruption. So the starting point is that the parliamentary committee are part of parliament and are established understanding. So that's the appointment which he got. And obviously, President Hakainde Hichilema was against it. And for me, what I would say is President Hakainde Hichilema is a promising candidate because, you know, he has served as a board of directors for many good companies. He has a successful business. He doesn't live a luxurious life. He's very economical, and he's even said that the private jet is going. The cars that ministers drive, they are going. And for me, I was like, no. We need those cars because every year, I know they take out a lump sum from salaries and there's an allowance there. So let me just put Hakainde Hichilema. So I just wanted to catch up with everybody, and it's been amazing. Obviously, take a break, but I'm back. Hi, Kakumbu from Windhoek, but I'm back now, and we'll be doing at least 4 live streams in a week where I can come here, we discuss what's going on in Zambia at least for about an hour. Because sometimes people say, oh, I look at the time of the video before I can watch. It's because most of the videos that I share, I do live streams like this. So when somebody comes and watches the video, they think I have recorded a video for 1 hour and then uploaded it. But no, it's a live stream. So please bear with me. Okay. So obviously Lungu is ready to beat. That's what he claims. He's going to beat Hakainde Hichilema. But a lot of people, they are silent. It's called watermelon. Green on the outside, but the heart is red. A lot of people, thankfully, the voting is private. So a lot of people will vote for the UPND. So the police have arrested, obviously I've said this, UPND leader Hichilema as a special assistant for duties, special duties, Movita Sinawa and Anthony, who is a spokesperson for theft and forgery, like I explained earlier. So these guys have been arrested and are being charged for fraud, for forgery, for simply disclosing that these guys had fake documents out there. Himonga says, how sad, these are the people who claim to be fighting corruption. Thanks, Lee, for the updates. Yeah, that's what's going on in Zambia right now. So Dr. CHITALU has been reappointed as a parliamentary, member of the budget committee. And people say there's nothing wrong with that. He has been forgiven. And then we've had, other PS people being hired, lots of them, and different ministers as well. And Mulalelo has been fired from the Ministry of Health for abusing the Ministry of Health. So I don't want to take long. I've done 1 hour, almost 1 hour. Let's continue tomorrow. I will do another live stream tomorrow. We need to catch up and do a lot of live streams. There's a lot of topics to discuss. Every day there's a lot and a lot and a lot. I'll sort out my laptop to see how people can come in. If I'm doing those live streams where people need to come in, I have to schedule them for 5 p.m. British time because Zambia is about 7 o'clock. The time difference is what is affecting us at the moment for us to catch up on this live stream. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel. It's Girl Lila Matams, also known as Global Z. And for those of you who would want to support the work that I'm doing in Zambia, please and please and please do so. I will post the link, my PayPal link. I'll post my my MTN mobile money number in Zambia, and we'll carry on the work. The work has continued. You can check out my Facebook page. Every day I'm doing something for the community, and that's why I have to work as well in order to give back to the community. There's a lot of things that are going on, and we need a better Zambia. If you want to see a better Zambia, you can sponsor even 1 t-shirt, 2 t-shirts. 1 t-shirt is 55 kwacha. You can sponsor 10 t-shirts. 10 t-shirts are 550 kwacha. You can sponsor 10 UPND cards. 10 cards, that's 100 kwacha. 10 kwacha each. So whichever you want to do to support the work, and I can assure you that the level at which God has built what I'm doing is a very positive one. A lot of people never in their entire life, see me being in that position. And many people just thought I was just talking from the diaspora. But I decided to go on the ground, to work with people, meet people. And being a social worker myself, I use my social work skills, my exposure in Britain, to even set up a very powerful manifesto, which has won me the love of the people in Monali constituency. So your support, I will really appreciate, because any little helps, any little helps. It doesn't matter whether it's 50 kwacha, 100 kwacha, 200 kwacha. Money is never little. And I know many of you have supported me worldwide. Thank you so much. For those of you who have supported me, Morocco, Algeria, Ghana, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Botswana, South Africa. A lot of people have supported me, USA, UK. And I'm always overwhelmed. People are just sending me messages and messages. What do we need to do for you, Lily? So thank you so much. Na totela sana. Let's keep on until I become member of parliament in Monali constituency. And I've shared this before, that my channel will never go down because I'm a member of parliament. I will document my journey, talk about certain issues, document other things. And for me, I'll always be somebody who will always talk the truth. I'm not a person that will just look at things and say it's okay. No. There are certain things that I talk about, obviously internally, internal matters, even in our political party, which I cannot come on media and say. But I do voice out, no, this should be done this way, this should be done this way. Believe you me, you will never be worried when I'm a member of parliament, because I am a person of integrity. I am a person that will not allow abuse of resources, will not allow even corruption. When people even try to send me a message like, oh, honorable, can you give us so much? We are pushing for adoption. I said, no, I don't believe that, because I know that the only way for me to be in parliament is for me to demonstrate from the beginning, my perseverance and my transparency. If I start now giving on the side 50 kwacha, 100 kwacha, support me, then that attitude will carry on even when I'm in parliament. And that's why we always have problems when people enter parliament, because they were doing these things before they went into parliament. So thank you so much watching me from Monze. Thank you. I know you're always willing to watch me on my YouTube channel. Na totela sana. So see you on my next live stream tomorrow. We will be discussing more and more topics to find out how the Zambian government is faring, especially Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu and his cabinet. Take care.